Before we get into some training camp winners and losers, I'm going to ask on the Dog Pound to help me out a little bit. I'm trying to reach 11,000 subscribers here on the channel before week 1. So if you're looking for a Browns YouTube channel before the regular season kicks off, we can do some business together. Just hit that sub button. Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm Matthew Peterson with some training camp winners and losers from Berea. Now, a couple quick notes, kind of housekeeping stuff before we jump into things. I only have one rule. I'm not doing any big names, right? It's too easy if you go, Amari Cooper's a winner. Well, yeah, he's also a very well-established wide receiver. So I'm going to go for a little bit of some under-the-radar guys. Also, I have to go out of town this weekend, so a little peek behind the curtain. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon. I really hope nothing drastic changes, so just bear with me if there is a little bit of a material change over the next 24-ish hours, whatever it is. But my first training camp winner, Michael Woods. Like, if you haven't gotten on the hype train yet, all aboard, like Thomas the Tank Engine style. Don't miss out on this right now, okay? It's the Browns' 6th-round draft pick in 2022 out of Oklahoma, transferred from Arkansas, and he kind of got lost a little bit at OU last year in the midst of underwhelming Spencer Rattler QB play, and it's Oklahoma. They have tons of stars right there. Now, we got an OU guy in the office, so I said, give me your kind of cliff notes on Michael Woods. He basically summed it up as great after the catch. He's going to do some good things between the hash marks, and he'll be over the middle for you. And also, Michael Woods is getting a lot of positive buzz right now from his own wide receiver coach, Chad O'Shea, who said he has a tremendous work ethic. He is very smart. He is mature. He is taking the coaching. Certainly for a rookie, I think he has been very professional in his development. He has made the most of his opportunities, and it has been very positive for Mike Woods so far. He's not only getting praise from his wide receiver coach, what about the guy he lines up against every single day of practice? Greg Newsome. Matt Fontana from ESPN Cleveland tweeting out, he's been doing amazing. He is a very confident guy, which I like. He can run great routes, great off the line. I think he will make some plays for us this season, which you got to love to hear that because we're talking about a 6th-round pick. Like, that's not a shoo-in to make the 53-man roster, okay? He's going to be the skilled position player I will be watching for the most during preseason games. Remember last year, it was DPJ, another 6th-round pick, who was sort of the star of training camp and the star of the preseason games. Looks like he's passing it on to Michael Woods. So this is definitely a name to keep an eye on for, and remember if you haven't already, because he has been doing a lot of great stuff so far at training camp. I mean, just watching the videos and the clips and the highlights that emerge from it, he's always in them. But that's one winner I have today. Give me some training camp winners you have so far. We'll be looking at some losers in a little bit, but let's keep it positive to start with here. It's the pinned comment, so if YouTube puts an ad break when I'm done talking, take advantage of it and give me a name down below in the comment section. My next training camp winner is AJ Green, the cornerback, former UDFA out of Oklahoma State. So going back to Oklahoma a little bit, but I liked what I saw to Green last year. And I think last year was a big, he's going to be in the right direction for the next year, okay? And then the depth chart here looks like this, where you have plenty of star talent. You've got Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Greg Newsome, and Martin Emerson, all guys picked in day 1 or 2 of the NFL draft. So naturally, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of room necessarily for a UDFA to make his presence known. Not so fast, okay? AJ Green has done that. Anthony Posale from the Cleveland Browns' own website writing, Green has arguably been the top defender so far in camp. He recorded the defense's first interception last Saturday and has gotten his hands on a few other passes throughout the first week. He's mostly played on the second team so far, but he has been used in nickel and dime packages as an extra defensive back here. Listen, if you have a player like AJ Green, who is your CB5, right? I mean, you can go Ward, Williams, Newsome, Emerson. That's probably your top 4 corners. If Green is the 5th guy up, when he sounds like he's a player who will start for a lot of other teams or at least be higher up on the depth chart, you're doing a lot of good things if you're Andrew Berry, right? You're putting together a very competent defensive back room here. And I love to see that he is being very well versatile and like a Swiss Army knife. Because right now, that nickel position, that nickel slot corner that's being occupied by Greg Newsome, I wouldn't say it's not a guarantee, but I would say that Greg Newsome may not be a shoo-in to get 100% of the snaps, right? You might throw some different looks in there, and that's where Green can step up and deliver. But speaking of the Browns defense, I want you guys to give it a letter grade here, because right now, not producer Marshall today, it's the evil producer Jeremy. Looking over to him, he runs our Steelers channel, and you know what he had all of his little sheep do over on his Steelers channel? He had them all spam F. Petey, and then they shit-talk the Browns. So you know what, Steelers fans? While we may have our own QB issues at the moment, you guys are having a QB battle where Mason Rudolph is winning it. That's all I'm going to say. All right, next training camp winner. It is Kade York. Guys, this guy's legit. He is money, okay? 4th-round pick out of LSU. I was all about it when it happened, and I'm loving it even more. Literally, I had to barely change the wording of the text below because right before I started filming, he missed his first kick of training camp. It was like a 58-yarder, and he left it a little short. Boo-hoo, I'm not concerned at all. He has been essentially perfect so far. He has just been knocking in and banging through all these long kicks. Kade York, knock on wood, because it's different once you get to First Energy Stadium and you got the lake effect, but he looks like the real deal. And finally, we can all hope for some continuity and some stability at the kicking position, because the last 5 years hasn't really seen it. I mean, McLaughlin last year got off to a good start, and then the last half of the season, he looked like the journeyman he is. All right, Cody Parkey, he's actually okay. I was very nervous when he came over from Chicago because I was scared he would do a double doink at a key moment for a Browns game. But regardless, the rest of the stats speak for themselves. Hopefully, Kade York can put that, recent woes behind and can be the next Phil Dawson. All right, I got a loser, because in life there are winners and losers, and it's Tommy Togiai. I don't want to be too harsh because it's just the first 2 weeks of training camp now. Don't read into this too much as, oh no, burn it all down, it's not working out for him. But it isn't the greatest start, okay? He hasn't jumped off the page. He hasn't really made himself a name that's been featured in headlines. And we know that Andrew Berry wanted to go young on the defensive line, especially on the interior side. He wasn't interested in signing an Ndamukong Suh. Might have kicked the tires a little bit on a Sheldon Richardson. But he was pretty adamant that he was confident in a young rotation of 2018, Taven Bryan, 2020, Jordan Elliott, 2021, Tommy Togiai, 2022, Perion Winfrey, and I wouldn't say it's not working to plan, but I think everyone would have hoped that some of these guys would have taken bigger steps forward, specifically Tommy Togiai, a day 3 pick out of Ohio State, or a 3rd-round pick, out 4th, whatever it was, out of Ohio State last year. Listen, here's my concern. You don't just need 2 starting defensive tackles in the NFL. These are big dudes. When you're north of 300 pounds, you got to rotate them every so often. They can't go every single snap on defense. And to me, I kind of feel that the Browns only have 1.5 starting defensive tackles. It's a mix of like Taven Bryan. Sure, he's a starting defensive tackle, but the Jags also moved on from him after 4 years for a former first-round pick for a bit of a reason, which was he was underwhelming. Jordan Elliott has definitely made some good strides in the right direction, but I don't think he can be put in, concrete that he is absolutely ready to go for 17 straight games. And then we don't know what to make of a rookie like Perion Winfrey yet. And Togiai just hasn't looked the part. So I'm at like 1.5 guys when you put all of that together here. Togiai, 132nd pick? Okay, there we go. Producer Jeremy redeeming himself after having every single Steeler fan spam FPD in the chats here. All right, we've got some more training camp winners and losers to get to. Psych! I couldn't decide. I went the coward's way out here with Jacoby Brissett. I'm neutral, okay? Jordan Elliott is the 3rd-round pick. Togiai is the 4th, regardless. Brissett, I'm neutral on, okay? He's not a winner. He's not a loser. But he has been a bit underwhelming, and we all know that he's got some big shoes to fill if and when a Deshaun Watson suspension happens. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about real football here for a second. But so far in camp, he has not maybe looked the part as a starting quarterback for multiple weeks. Now, it's still early in camp. He's not getting all these runs with the first team offense, so he's not building that chemistry yet. So for that reason, I'm not panicking over this. But I would be lying if I was standing up here and said, Brissett's looked awesome so far. If he's got to play a whole season, don't worry. The way he's looked so far, he looks like an 11-win QB. No, in fact, I think it was the first practice after the Watson suspension was announced that he went out there with the first team offense and threw a pick or two. It was just not ideal. It was a little bit like, damn, that would have been a good practice for you to have the best practice ever. Plus, if I'm Jacoby Brissett right now, you got to ball out to fight off any idea of trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. Because if Jimmy G comes to town, Andrew Berry's not making that move to just add some more competition. Nope, he believes Garoppolo is going to be the starting QB. Now, we don't know who the starting QB is going to be for the entire season. Or maybe we do by the time this comes out. That's not important here. But I'm looking at the first 12 weeks of the schedule because it's very unlikely Deshaun Watson plays the first 12 weeks. And the first 6 weeks are quite manageable for Brissett. That's 4-2 to me right there. It's the next 6 weeks that get tough, right? You've got the Ravens, the Bengals, the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Bucks. Those are all 5 playoff teams. The only argument maybe you could say is not the Dolphins, but they surely improved this offseason. That could be a bad stretch. So for Jacoby Brissett, hopefully by then, of course, he will have gained some chemistry with his team, and he will have been in a rhythm more so than early August, but it's definitely not off to a home run start. Now, I want to ask this question to you guys here, because on our live show, which airs every Thursday, by the way, at 4 Eastern, you're welcome to join, we talked about whether or not the Browns are playoff contenders with Jacoby Brissett. I believe they are. I believe this roster has too much talent not to be. They may not be a 12-win team, but I do think they are playoff contenders. That 10-win margin can get you in. So let me know if you think they are. Y for yes or N for no. Sound off in the comment section. Before we get on out of here, I just want to give some shout-outs to some new subscribers here at the channel. Show some love to you guys watching back at home. So the first one up, Skirness? I don't know how to say that correctly, but appreciate you subscribing. Stinkbait Brian Huff, Tim Green, GoNavy.com, 510 The Entertainer, Phil, Tweeter, Allen, Harmstead62, Ernie Watson. I appreciate you 10 and everyone else that's recently subscribed to the channel. We're growing like crazy here, and that speaks a testament to all of you watching at home for clicking that sub button. But if you haven't already, make sure you go do so before we get on out of here.